What's good? Welcome to First Screen Podcast. On today's episode of First Screen Podcast, we have the one and only Coach David Cox joining us today. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the move from Maryland to Villanova, the NBA draft, and we'll cover a little bit of NBA playoffs with Coach Cox. We will also look at the NHL playoffs. Will they continue after tonight? Will the Oilers be able to stave off elimination and force a Game 7? We got a special birthday also. We'll talk a little bit also about a couple of other topics right now. I'm searching because, man, I got thrown off a little bit. We got a lot happening today. I hope y'all ready. We got a lot of things happening. We're not going to waste no more time. Let's go.
It's wartime, baby. This what you signed up for. This what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all got to go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace them up, it's the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. Lace them up, it's the First String Podcast Show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast Show. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting lineup, First String is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cast. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Say it from the South, so he rep GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe, go ahead and tune in. Like, subscribe, recommend to a friend. Nah, for real, like, subscribe, and recommend this to a friend. Hey, let's go. Cause it's time for the First String Podcast Show.
Hello and welcome to First String Podcast. Hey Al,
Hey, lady, I said we got
what's happening?
I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here. I'm sitting still like I'm frozen.
What happened?
I said, what in the world's going on?
And it looked like he was like mid blink or something. It was really creepy.
I guess maybe they're getting some terrible weather down there in Florida. That Boost Mobile ain't working like it's supposed to be.
You mean in Texas?
In Texas, yeah,
So you telling them, Pick? Is that where our money's going?
All I'm saying is, the internet bill, man. You get you some reliable internet service. Make sure
and then it's us. We the ones left here.
Of course, we always support our man. We got his back. So
yeah, but the reason why I say that is because we go off the rails a little bit.
We do.
I think Pick is back. Well, trying to come back. But thank you guys for tuning in. I think Pick is back. Pick, are you here?
Yo,
We try to figure out what happened.
Hey, listen, I got kicked off my internet, but I don't know. It's just everything just.
Now, Al said it might be Boost Mobile.
Yeah, it's not Boost Mobile. I promise you. Listen, my whole computer turned black, and then my off screen turned blue just now. In the world of technology, y'all know these.
Where you get that computer from?
Well, on the phone, you can dial 611 and make a payment. So if you need to do that or something, if you need to do that from the phone and make sure the internet bill is paid at home. So
No, it's the computer. So I mean, where you get it from? QVC?
Issue, Al. It wasn't a payment issue. That's not the
He
problem.
got it from QVC. He did that little payment thing they got.
Oh Lord.
I used that one before. It wasn't a computer issue. It wasn't a payment issue. It was a computer issue.
No. Literally, my screen was black. I could see that my camera was still on, but
it wasn't. Your camera was done.
Okay.
Oh well. Okay.
Like you were mid blink, and your eyes were blurry, but the rest of you was frozen. It was really creepy. Just want to let you know.
Perfect.
You might want to roll the tape back. I
really don't want to. I don't want to see. I'm gonna have to, but I don't want to see.
Gotcha.
My bad for the technical problems. It happens. Lady A, how have you been?
I'm pretty good.
Right.
I just want y'all to know that I'm dealing with my nephew is now walking and running and hitting his sisters. So it's full Taz time. Like
yes,
100%.
she's talking Taz. She's talking little Taz. Okay. Well, we missed you. We did appreciate the shows with no fines.
Oh, y'all got fines?
No, not me.
That's okay. I got a copy of it because y'all say y'all didn't get them, but I got copies.
I've been on my best behavior.
I do carbon copies. I document everything.
Al, how have you been, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Like I said, I got that onesie, that cowboy onesie for little Taz.
Mm-hmm.
So they can run around in, man. I'm had a little tack, little shop. So I got the cowboy onesie ready for him, man. A little, cowboy bottom.
No, thank you.
Squeeze his water, his milk, and the people he don't like.
No, thank you.
Man, life is good, man. The summertime is here. The kids are graduated. As soon as the summer gets here, it usually leaves. So it's one of those things where, man, take a breath, man. Enjoy it, man. These are beautiful days. It's hot days in the DMV, and I know it's hot days down there in Texas. So, but you got to appreciate every one of them, man. So that's all I'm trying to do.
So, say it's not running late today. It's his birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Sid.
You blink.
So he will be checking in with us, but Sid is doing Sid today. Okay. So he'll be checking in with us. So yeah, we'll catch Sid. He's around, enjoying himself. No one said he's probably all fishing somewhere.
With no service
in the hot sun. He got
It's Sid's day. Let him do what he
cooler
wants.
full of Powerade.
Exactly.
You got a cooler full of Powerade. So he's out there enjoying himself, doing what he wants to do on his birthday. It's his day. So he said he's going to check in with us. Okay. Now, listen, we got a very important guest backstage right now.
Yes.
We got Coach David Cox back here with us. And we've had Coach Cox on before. Let's bring him on in. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. Good to be back, Vic. Lady A, good to see you. Pat, good to see you.
All right.
First question I got for you is, how do you deal with Al and this cowboy stuff? How do you deal with that?
Guess
we're blood brothers. So how he goes, I go.
So this will be Coach Cox's final debut.
So it's contagious, is what I'm saying. Hereditary.
He was raised the right way.
Oh my goodness!
Look, what we gotta do is get y'all baptized. We'll bring Doc on so he can get you guys straight, so he can lay some hands on you. Doc will get
some oil.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I need the oil or my team needs the blessings. So
we
not blessing them. We want
to upright and healthy. Much blessings that way.
It's been a struggle.
We know it's been a struggle.
Don't feed into it. Those are private conversations.
It's a struggle from the top all the way down. Because oh my goodness,
these guys get good for 1 year and forget all the years before.
No. We said the same thing.
These guys get
all the years before.
We went 12 games 3 years in a row. They went 12 games 1 year, and it's like it's been there.
And guess what we say? When y'all win 12 games, we tell y'all what? What we tell y'all?
Y'all got one extra.
That's cute. However,
y'all will be sitting at home the following week.
Because what you gonna do with the 12 wins?
All I've been saying, we didn't talk. All I tell them is do it again. Let's see how they do it again.
Yeah,
Al,
The irony,
you
though,
gotta say, Al,
the
you gotta
irony though that you guys
admit
had to
one
go out
thing.
and get a former Dallas Cowboys coach though is
He
there's some
always
irony
did.
there.
That's
Y'all
it.
didn't know
He's
what
a
to do
former
with
Atlanta
him.
Falcons coach. He's a former Atlanta Falcons coach.
Where'd he come from before he left? Where'd he come from previously?
He was a defensive coordinator.
Where was his flight from
Wow.
when he came
Y'all
to
didn't do
Coordinator
nothing
in
with
Seattle.
him.
we've digressed.
A lot of teams have talent, but it's what you do with the talent that matters. Even when we were at our worst, we had talent. We just didn't do anything with it. So
Hey,
it is what
let's
it
jump
is.
into this. Let's jump into this. We can spend the rest of our days talking Cowboys and Commanders and Falcons, which we will at the end of the show. We will most definitely do that. We're going to talk about some training camp stuff and things of that nature. But right now, we're less than 2 weeks away from the NBA draft, right? Coach, you had the privilege of making it to the tournament last year with the Maryland Terps, and your star, Derik Queen, has entered into the NBA draft and projected to be lottery, inside the lottery, outside the lottery, right there, on the verge. What is the best fit what is the best place that you think he should land to make his game, take his game to the next level?
Wow. Well, let me just first say I'm so excited for the young man and his family. Him and his mother is single, single mother. Lisa is raised him, and she's done an outstanding job. This young man is a joy to be around, was a joy to be around, outstanding character, and obviously the world knows now that he's a tremendous basketball talent. When you ask me the question of, where he should land in the NBA, first and foremost, I just hope he lands, which he will, but that's a blessing in and of itself. Right. But for him specifically, I do think that he is going to need to be on a team in an organization that has some maturity. They have character on their team from the top down, because he is a how do you put it? He can be a little silly at times, and I would hate for him to be distracted, from the ultimate goal of being the best NBA player that he can be. Getting drafted is a big thing, but that first contract in the NBA, which is obviously really, really good money, it isn't the real money. The real money is in your second contract. So him going to some place where he can grow as a young man on and off the floor, be held accountable, and then also be with some veteran players. I think that's going to be very, very important. I'm a Wizards fan. I've been a Wizards fan, misery for 20 or 30 years. All I talked about during the year, was, how the Wizards should take Derik Queen. I'm actually at the point now, though, where I'm somewhat removed from that, and I just want the best for him. So I think an organization, again, from the top down, that has culture and is about character and is about the right things, that's going to be the best fit for him. My good friend, my OG, my big brother, Troy Weaver, formerly the GM at Detroit, was with the Wizards last year, and he came to a number of our practices, and he came to damn near every home game. I'm not sure if you're aware, he's moved on to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
And, Troy has a very, very sharp eye, for talent. Obviously, the Thunder, which he helped Sam Presti recruit a lot of those guys to the organization, identified those guys, and then he did the same at Detroit, and you see how talented a bunch that group was. So I am kind of leaning towards a little bit, if personally, a Troy Weaver and Derik Queen connection. And I think the Pelicans have the 7th pick.
So it sounds to me like you need him to be in a mature locker room.
I do. No, I do. For a rookie, there's nothing more important than that. You see, the thing, it's going to change drastically for him. It's no more of us waking you up, walking you around, making sure you have this, that, and the other. We tell them that all the time at the college ranks. This will be the last time that anybody will actually, take care of you or try to take care of you. Once you enter the real hard, cold world as we know it, you're pretty much on your own, and your habits have to be, intact. So, I'm hoping he can continue to grow and mature, but I think it's really important for him in a 90-game season that lasts for 4 or 5 months, to be around people who are professional. I coached Mike Beasley, years ago, one of my first major talents, and we're really close with him and his family. And when he got drafted by Miami, I just didn't think it was a good fit. And it's not necessarily because the culture of that organization wasn't strong, because we know Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, those are strong, but it's Miami, you know what I mean, the distraction. So, and there were a few other younger players on that team that were kind of hitting it hard out there, and I just knew it wasn't a good mix. So I'm hoping Derik lands in the right city, the right organization, around the right people, so he can flourish and get to that second contract, and his mama and his kids and his grandkids will might not have to work a day in their lives, especially with the money they're throwing out here nowadays.
What you talking about,
Lady A?
So you speak of this talent that you are able to coach, and I think it is wonderful that you do. It sounds like you're genuinely wishing that they're going to um, organizations that will help them hone their skills. Um, as far as the talent from your perspective, when you're coaching these individuals, so you can tell, this person has exceptional talent. Can you give us some like key pointers or key things that you do as a coach when you have that type of talent in front of you?
Well, I think the first thing you do is you let the talent breathe. I mean, you don't stifle it right away. Some coaches try to overcoach. Some coaches want to be, so involved and take so much credit that they'll overdo it. So the first thing is you let it breathe, and while you let it breathe, you get to kind of allow them to become more confident. But also you get to kind of dissect some things, and then you take your time, and then you start to attack them. In Derik's case, I mean, again, he's probably one of the most talented offensive players I've ever coached. I think of Michael Beasley. I think of Nolan Smith. I think of Greg Monroe. I think of Jeff Green. Those are really, really talented offensive players. But so super talented. What we had to work on with Derik was, again, being mature each and every day, bringing it in practice, getting in shape, the defensive end of the floor, rebounding. So all those things that, just didn't necessarily mean a whole lot to him or register a whole lot to him. We had to kind of, touch base on some of those things. But I think the best thing we did once he got there in the summer, we did a lot of workouts and stuff like that. But for the most part, we just kind of let him play his game, and we figured out, some of the things we might need to tweak. And then we also figured out, what best style of play works for him so that he can flourish and ultimately help us flourish. And I think we did a pretty good job of that last year.
Yeah. Al?
Coach? I'm going to keep it on Derik. I got some Villanova questions later, but I'll start with this one. He played on a star-studded high school squad.
Yes.
I'm Derik Queen, but Cooper Flagg, other couple guys. And what I noticed with you all is he gradually flourished and became more confident, skill set became more developed. I can see with the coaching and discipline and everything along those lines. What areas do you think he needs to work on? All areas, of course, but specifically transitioning from a 6'11" kind of post guy who doesn't have a big outside shot, but has a dynamic mid-range game, inside game, and can rebound when he wants to. Mm-hmm. What areas does he need to really work on that's going to make him a prolific pro, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, offensively, you touched it, Al. At the NBA level, it's all about skill now. So shooting is the highest priority. So he's going to definitely have to become a consistent 17, 18-foot shooter. And hopefully one day be able to stretch that out to 3 and be a somewhat consistent 3-point shooter. That'll open up his whole game. He's a tremendous passer. He didn't show it off a whole lot last year, because the scoring came so easy to him. But he is a tremendous passer. He's got tremendous feel. So his shot on the offensive end, and then defensively, again, his motor, his defensive rebounding, and in particular his ball screen coverage. They're going to put him, NBA, a lot of ball screens, yes, a lot of two-man games. So they'll put him in a lot of ball screen coverage, and he's going to have to be able to stay in front of, John Morant coming downhill. He's going to have to be able to stay in front of, Brunson. He's going to have to stay in front of those guys, until this guard can recover, as well as recovering to his big man. So that's going to take some effort, some mobility. He's going to probably have to drop some body fat and get into a little bit better shape and increase his motor.
Al, you got another one?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have several, but yeah. And then speaking of, like I said, getting to a good organization, I think we both can feel that the Wizards, even when Troy was there, the Wizards were not the best runs organization. Troy was a great guy, and I think the best move for Troy was going. And I think, how would that fit? Would that fit look to you with having with what New Orleans has in regards to bringing Derik's talent over there in New Orleans in that locker room, because they got some good wings and some good guards, but I don't know about their front their front line.
Yeah, well, like you said, they've got some young talent. I think it would be a good fit because, again, they have some young talent, but like you said, they don't have a whole, they're not that deep in the front court, so he would be kind of almost forced to play, and I think him playing is going to be good for him, and ultimately good for the organization. He's going to have, again, freshman rookie year hiccups. That comes with the territory. But the only way to get better, is actual game reps. So the fact that he might go somewhere and they're not loaded in his position and he might be able to touch the floor, in an NBA game, it's similar to, to Bub Carrington last year, with the Wizards. They were able to, for a different reason, but they were able to just give him those minutes as well as the center. They were able to play them. So they struggled last year as an organization, but those two rookies got a lot better. They got real game time reps, and it's going to help them, kind of moving forward. So that's what I'm hoping for him.
Okay. Now
go ahead, Al. No, go ahead.
But no, enough on Derik Queen. Now with the question where we got you here as well.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, we can't go there yet. Okay.
I got one more. I got one more from the Maryland team. Reese. Okay. Reese is going into the NBA. So pretty much the same thing with him. What about his game? Where should he land?
Well, he's had a number of workouts, as you mentioned at the beginning, at the top of the show. We spend an inordinate amount of time with these guys.
Yep.
Almost more than obviously with our own families. Yes. So we bonds are formed, and in those two guys' cases, again, Julian, I was with him for 3 years at Maryland. He stayed there for 4. Obviously, I missed his freshman year. I was at another school, but I was with him for 3 years, and we developed, a really good relationship. And then I recruited Derik for, 2 years basically, before we ended up getting him. So that's like a 3-year relationship. So I do absolutely, want the best for them. They're in constant communication with us. And I bring that up because we just spoke to Julian the other day. He has had a number of NBA workouts. Some have gone okay, some have gone, really, really well. I think, if he continues to work out hard and work out well with his body of work over the last 4 years, he should get drafted. If he doesn't get drafted, I would be very surprised if he's not scooped up right away and signed to a two-way deal, and then just has to earn his way. But he's another one similar to Derik. We played with 2 throwback bigs. Nobody played with bigs like us last year. They weren't super athletic. They weren't necessarily rim protectors. They weren't rim runners. They weren't sprinting down the floor and catching lobs. And we played with 2 kind of big old dudes that just threw their bodies around in the Big Ten. So I'm hoping that Ju can go up there, use his body, use his size, use his strength, increase his motor, and be a good defender, a good rebounder, a solid finisher, and then, just kind of make his way, through the NBA ranks.
So it's going to be hard work for Ju.
What's that?
It's going to be hard work it's hard work ahead.
Oh, absolutely. No, well, I mean, again, we're talking about being in the NBA. Yeah. This is the NBA. Yeah, 350 players or whatever it is, 400 players, out of, I don't know how many play basketball across the world, not even just across the United States. So, yeah, you're talking about trying to be a part of the 1 percentile. So, yeah, It's going to be hard work. Goddamn right.
I like it. Come on, Al. Let's go to Villanova.
All right, man. I think this is going to hurt a lot of Maryland fans' feelings. And being a Maryland, Maryland guy, I'm full-fledged. But we watched the meeting Coach Cox video. And what I saw there was It's just different in Villanova. People think Maryland got a falling with basketball, but it's a little different up there in Philly, man. They breed Villanova. They got multiple national championships. I think 3. I believe it's 3. I know 2 in the last 2 with Jay Wright recently. So they've had the success. They're in the Big East, which is, like I said, basketball itself. So give us life at Villanova and how that's going so much different. And what do we have to look forward to follow these Wildcats, man?
Well, I've been up here for about 6 weeks now. As you can see, they've got me in luxury accommodations here. No, I'm just playing. We're actually staying in a house all together, the assistant coaches. So we're forming a bond now. We're all kind of looking at house and apartments, looking to move. But yeah, I've been here for about 6 weeks, and again, as you mentioned, Al, I've been taken aback almost by the level here. It's just a different level. We've had these conversations before. About elite college football programs and organizations. We know about elite, professional organizations. They're the New York Yankees and things like of that nature. The money is different. The resources are different. The fan support is different. And again, that's no slight to Maryland. I'm from there. Grew up as a Maryland fan, and there are tremendous basketball minds in Maryland. Some of them very, very opinionated about everything.
Yes.
And that's good and bad. Here, it's just almost like whatever we roll out, they're kind of rolling with. You know what I mean? They just want to be a part of it. They just want to support us. So as I'm walking around, Villanova and the cities around here, wherever I go with this V on my chest, you see people, kind of pay attention. Now, in regards to, as you mentioned, all the success they've had here, I mean, that speaks volumes of the culture here. The players were as soon as we got the job, a lot of the players that are currently in the NBA, as well as former NBA players, they reached out immediately. They've been in constant communication, with the staff. They're excited about getting over here in the summertime, watching our practices, having some open runs with our guys. We're talking about, obviously, the Villanova guys, that play with the Knicks, as well as, DiVincenzo and guys who play overseas. So, we're excited about meeting those guys, learning about the culture. We kept one of the former assistant coaches who I've known for about 20 years. So, hopefully he can get us kind of ingratiated into the Villanova way. But it's just different now. I mean, again, when you are in today's landscape, when you're at a university that does not have to foot the bill for football, and then all of the money that goes into the pot is for basketball, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. So, this is it's just basketball here. It literally is it's basketball, and they all let you know that.
How much did this new legislation with the the cap on how much the universities can pay players now, how much did that help or hurt Villanova's recruiting this year?
So yeah, it didn't hurt our recruiting here. So let me try to explain.
Yeah, explain that, please.
Let me try to explain this to you in as best I can in layman's terms. And this is where a lot of the confusion in regards to Coach Willard's comments, during the tournament were maybe a little bit misconstrued. Again, he could have probably delivered them, a little bit differently. But the point of his rants were this in particular. One, we were at a school at the University of Maryland where when we came there, they said to us that this is a basketball university. I was specifically in those conversations with the AD. This is a basketball university. Now, that coming from him was a little bit, I'll just say suspicious, because we know that he hired Loxley. We know that he played football at Georgia. We know that he was an AD at one point down the SEC. And we know he had aspirations of making this a football powerhouse. But we took him for his word, and it is what it is. I thought that Damon did a solid job of supporting us. What Coach was doing was, the time that we were there, for the 3 years we were there, was fighting for more, which is what you want your coach to do. Yeah, absolutely. Continue to fight for more. So that's one side of it. In regards to the actual House settlement, how it would have affected the Big Ten, is completely different to how it affects the Big East. Why? Because Big Ten, I'm just going to talk about the Big Ten. I'm not going to talk about other conferences because I was in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is a football conference.
Right.
The football conference. Ohio State, you got Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, just to name those three.
Not to mention that they sucked up the West Coast.
Yeah, not to mention Oregon and USC and all those. Right, exactly. So it's a football. Okay. So with the House settlement, basically, every school in the conference is going to receive approximately $20.5 million. Okay. And that's because of, TV revenue and all those types of things. So every school receives about $20.5 million. And those schools can use it however they want to. The kind of underground agreement, or whatever you want to call it, with football programs was that they would receive the bulk of it. It makes sense, right? They have 80 to 100 players, so equipment, travel, all that stuff. It costs a lot of money, so they would receive the bulk of it. So at Maryland, we were set to receive out of that $20.5 million, about $4.5 million to go towards building a roster the following year. Okay.
That math ain't mathing already.
That math isn't mathing already. Last year, our roster, cost in excess of that amount.
Right.
You know about inflation. Natural inflation is 2-3%, 4%. Inflation in this NIL era is 50, 75%. So the numbers are going up exponentially. Somebody who we might have paid, for example, a Rodney Rice, who was making, a certain amount of money last year, a couple of hundred, maybe thousands, is now going to make several million. Kudos to him. Kudos to his family. I'm happy for him, and I hope he goes out there and he kills it. But that's what we're talking about. So what Coach didn't explain, I guess, too well was this. Jumping to the Big East at a school that doesn't have a football program means what?
We got all the money.
We don't have to share that money.
Right.
So now we're able to compete at the high level that's expected of an elite program like Villanova. The rosters this year in college basketball for good teams now, at the highest level, are going to range anywhere between 10 and 15, 16 million dollars to pay for your 13-man roster. These kids are getting anywhere from 200 to 500 to $1 million to $2 million and up, per person. All right. So in order to sustain a high level of success, you've got to bring in quality players. In order to attract quality players in this, you're going to have to pay. So Coach was looking ahead, not necessarily at, last year or even behind in the last 2 years. He might have had some issues here and there, that needed to be addressed and either did or didn't. But that wasn't a big issue. He was looking towards the future. And if you look towards the future, we would have stayed at Maryland. We would have had about, going into next year, $4.5 million. No more collective. So you can't, just raise that money and put it in a pot and add it on. No, you can get fined for that as a school. I think the fine is like $5 million if they catch you using illegal money outside of the money that's allotted to you. So we couldn't take that chance. So if we would have came back this year into the Big Ten, let's just say with a $5 million roster, $6 million roster, we probably would have finished in close to last place.
And you would have been fired.
And then we would have been fired.
Yeah.
And they'd have been like, why can't you recruit? So
all of those questions.
It's totally understandable. I mean, I'm just going to say it before Lady A says it. Y'all would have got fined because she would have fined all of y'all for just staying there. Just like she's been like, no, just go. Fine. You're going to be fined for staying right now. Makes sense. A lot of what you just said makes a lot of sense. So I'm just going to say it like this.
Yep.
With that being said, the top teams should be teams with no good football programs like Duke, Big East teams. they should be the ones on top that don't have to share the money this year. Is that
not necessarily this year, but going into next year? Because this year the House settlement, the House settlement just passed. I'm sorry, the House settlement just passed. So they were allowing us for the last couple of months to still use some collective money. So, for example, Maryland's roster this year, it's going to be in excess of that $5 million. I don't know the exact number, but it'll be in excess of that. As far as next year, when this rolls around and they got that whatever $4.5 million, good luck. Good luck.
Lady A.
I know she likes this conversation.
I'm gonna say I commend Pick for trying to slip in a little info. He was trying to figure out who's gonna be the best teams this upcoming season. But Pick, you gotta wait. Sometimes the info you receive, it take a while to come to fruition. You
right.
But I see where you're going.
And it's definitely not all about the money. I mean, you can make mistakes with your money. People can get
absolutely
injured. People cannot play as well as you expected them to play. So just because you have all of the money doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate into you making a championship run.
Sure.
But at least you'll have the horses.
Well, I mean, yeah, because Dallas fans knows that. You guys know all that. You pay people a lot of money sometimes, and they just don't do what you think they're gonna do.
We paid Alfred Hainsworth too, didn't we?
You said what now?
We paid Alfred Hainsworth too, didn't we?
Y'all paying.
I'm just saying
right now.
You were talking about bad investments. You were talking about bad investments.
Bad investments.
We paid out. Did we pay or did you pay Alfred Hainsworth?
I think y'all did.
Archuleta, you paid him or we paid him?
Yeah, I think y'all did.
Okay, I'm just saying because you said that you make bad investments.
I mean, people make bad investments, but y'all you're actively in that situation.
Talk about the Commanders. We've digressed.
I mean, we've done it before, but I'm talking about active.
It's kind of like prior to the quarterback you just landed, who was outstanding. It's kind of like you throwing away all that money on the previous 10 quarterbacks that you had.
Exactly.
Bam.
And I mean, Sid's not here to defend his team, but he picked up. His team had 2 people at the same time that we had paid. It didn't really, but so it happens. I get it. But now, back to basketball.
Okay.
Back to basketball. So going into a new organization, a new program, what things? Because my background is HR, so this is a HR type of question. Mm-hmm. What type of things are you going to focus on to hit the ground running? Like what are you bringing to the table here?
Now, me as a coach or in regards to
as a coach, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it's important whenever you walk into somebody else's front yard or house or what have you that you ingratiate yourself. So I am trying to learn the lay of the land as much as I can, learn as much about the university and the culture here as much as I can. Meet the movers and shakers up here. You know what I mean? Because we'll definitely going to need them. But outside of that, to be honest with you, they brought us here to coach basketball and win games. So we're in the gym. I mean, we've been here for 6 weeks, and this is my 20th year now in college basketball, and I will say that this is probably one of the top 3 teams that I've been around just in regards to work ethic. Now, it's only been 6 weeks, but I mean, these guys have really, really been hitting it hard. We've been in the gym as early as some mornings, 7 a.m., and we're getting out of there sometimes at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes the guys are coming back at 10 o'clock, and we're doing this every day. So we're establishing the culture, establishing the work ethic that it needs to take to be successful, at this level. And that's what they brought us here for at the end of the day.
Come on, Al.
Coach, that's kind of a 2-part question, I think. One of the benefits, biggest benefits, outside just the kids getting money with NIL is you're seeing the kids stay in school longer to develop their skills. So you're getting a better talent, a better product, college basketball, all the good things that come from that.
Yes.
Now, with you all recruiting, it's also changed. We've talked about this personally. It's changed how you recruit. You don't always have to go after the top high school kids. Right. You can pick and choose from smaller conferences, bigger conferences, kids you see in different things. But the problem with that potentially is the expectations raised because you can get better players. Right. What has been the process with you all in regards to, are you getting high school? Are you getting transfers? Are you getting a combination of both? What kind of team is Villanova making up right now?
So for the last couple of years, because the whole landscape changed with the COVID and all those kids getting those extra years, we were playing against guys who were as old as 24, 25, 26 years old. right? And that's a pretty unfair playing field. So we did that game for the last couple of years where we hit the portal pretty hard and got some older guys. And I think, especially last year, we had a good mix. We had a high school impact kid, top 10 kid in Derik Queen who could be impactful, and we had, a transfer from Belmont, who ended up being, a star point guard in the country in Jacoby Gillespie.
Yep.
Then we took another transfer from a high major in Rodney Rice. And then we took a veteran transfer from USF. So we had a pretty good mix. Here, since we are, starting something new, and we are, aware that the COVID is phasing out. So this will probably be the last year where you'll have like 25, 26-year-old seniors. It should switch back to the way we grew up playing with regular 18, 19, 20, and 21-year-old kids. So what we did this year is we took the approach of going ahead and attacking, some youth, whether they are redshirt freshmen or actually high school kids. So, technically right now we have 5 freshmen on the team, and again, that's not necessarily a formula for success, right away. But, if you can get these guys better, if you can keep them around, then, we're back to trying to establish a culture here and establish a program, and not just going and grabbing guys out of the portal each and every year. I don't think you can live that way in the first place. You can't establish, a real program and any continuity, doing it that way. So we've kind of flipped it backwards, 3 or 4 years to the old school recruiting style. We do have a good mix of some older guys that we got out of the portal as well. So, I was speaking, to Vic earlier. I'm excited about the youthful talent and energy that we have on this team.
Coach, I don't know. I do remember a school up north in the Big Ten, Michigan, that just popped on the scene with 5 freshmen. I mean, they were some horses, though. They were some horses, but they shocked a lot of people and changed some culture, the way they do things. They probably still reflects in the basketball uniforms now.
Yeah, and their cost was probably about as much as our NIL cost today for that game.
That's probably true. All right. So, Coach, Al just spoke on your Villanova talent. So out of the last year when we had you at this time, you was excited. You named some names. You told us some players to watch out for. So don't think that you can get in here this time and not tell us who to watch out for. Yep. So come on, Coach, let's go. Who do we need to watch out for in Villanova this year?
All right. Well, I'm going to start with 2 local guys. How about that?
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to start with 2 local guys. The first is our incoming freshman from Sidwell Friends. His name is Caden Lewis.
Okay.
He's a top 30 prospect in the country. He played AAU for Kevin Durant's team, Team Durant. Give them a good shout out. They did a hell of a job with him. He played at Sidwell Friends for Eric Singletary, a legend as a basketball player and coach in the area who just does a phenomenal job teaching. Just imagine that Sidwell Friends with 2 pros, right? Two NBA players, Sidwell Friends, So we're excited about Caden. He is a 6'3" lefty point guard, silky smooth, changes gears, ambidextrous in regards to his finishing and shoots to cover off the ball. But I think his best trait is his passing ability. So, he's going to have a chance to be an impactful player, not only for us, but in this league and across the country in regards to that freshman class. And then the other local kid is a rising junior who played here last year, and we were able to keep him. And his name is Tyler Perkins. We expect him to have a breakout year this year. He's a 6'4" guard. He's about 215 pounds. He looks like a linebacker. And he played locally at Landon High School. And again, he was in the IAC, but I remember his senior year, they played at the Mathers Summer League. They played some non-conference games against some WCAC opponents, and he had a lot of success. He went on to play his freshman year at UPenn, where he averaged 13 points a game, and then he came here last year as a sophomore, where I think he averaged about 7 a game. So we're expecting a breakout year for him. So those are 2 guys to keep on your radar. I think we're also excited about this young man named Devin Askew. Now, Devin Askew went to Kentucky 4 years ago, so he's going to be a 5th-year senior. He's been to a number of schools, and it's not because he's a bad kid or anything like that. It just didn't work out in one place. He went to another place. They had a coaching change, so he's gone through some things. But he's another guard. He's about 6'3", and he went to Kentucky and he started there his freshman year. This was 4 years ago, as a 17-year-old reclass. So he's a baby. He's in his 5th year of college right now, and he just turned 22 years old. But he's mature beyond, his age. He's been through a lot. He went from Kentucky to Texas, and then from Texas, I think last year with Long Beach State, where he had a phenomenal year. And now he's excited to be. He's from the West Coast, on the East Coast. His cousin is the young man who played at Duke, who stars for the Philadelphia 76ers. He had a great rookie year last year. That's his McCain. That's his cousin. So he's excited to be here. So I'm excited about him as well. And we just got a number of we have a number of guys who play ball the right way, play extremely hard, physical. We got some Philly cats, we got some New York guys, New York City guys. So we're gonna take it back to the old school Big East. We'll be pressing, we'll be pushing the pace, we'll be physical, we'll be a little bit grimy, and I'm excited about all that. That's kind of how I came up playing, that's kind of how I came up coaching. So I'm excited to get back to that.
Cool. I want to jump back to something real fast now that we're talking about Villanova. You said that your stars from New York and your former players at Villanova, they're looking forward to come back, get some open run with the fellas. And how important is that? We know on the football side that was important, right? The University of Miami used to do it all the time. Other universities started picking up on it after that. But how important is that in the game of basketball, where you have quite, the numbers aren't as big as football, right? So how important is it for those former players to come back and give back to these student athletes?
I think it's important for 2 reasons. The first reason is because our players can look at those guys, who look just like them, who come from similar walks of life, who ended up coming to a university, a fine institution like the University of Villanova, getting a great education and excelling at basketball to the point where they either, probably made some sort of championship run, whether it's a conference or a national title run, and they've had a successful either NBA or overseas career. So just them coming back, speaking to our guys, it provides like a real concrete example of, hey, this is what you can do. This is really what you can do if you put your mind to it. So that's the first thing. It's real goals, like right in front of you. Hey, man, this guy, he was in the same dorm as me. He wore the same uniform as me, same practice facility as me, same, AAU type of program as me, and look where he's at. So it gives our guys inspiration. The other thing is, the flip side of it is this. When you walk into this arena, it's filled with Jay Wright quotes. I mean, filled with they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And one that stands out to me, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, is basically that once you walk through these doors and join this team, you are playing for the players before you, the players that laid this foundation. That's how strong the culture here is. That's why those guys are calling back. They want to make sure, that we've got good players, and that we win games, but that we play hard and we play the right way. We play the Villanova way. So, it's kind of an inspiration to our guys as well to come in here and realize that, hey, man, we're a part of something special. And those guys have expectations for us. The manner in which we compete is all that they're worried about. How we compete. Obviously, yes, they want us to win and win at a high level. But, the manner in which we approach the game, the manner in which we work, the manner in which we compete day in and day out, that's important to those past players. So I think it's twofold, and I think it's all good. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And we're talking about young black men, too, that are coming back. You know what I mean? 25, 27, 30, 32. We're not talking about 50, my old guys like me, or 60 talking that old shit. We're talking about young guys dressing the way they want, our guys are dressing, driving the same types of cars, all those types of things. So they can relate to them, you know what I mean? But they're professional, and they know how to be professionals, and they talk that professional talk. And I think it goes a long way with our guys.
Lady A?
As we come up on the draft and we're talking about recruiting and things like that, What do you say to up and coming players that want to join an organization like Villanova or even Maryland or, whatever organization they're dreaming of? What do you say to them to achieve that?
Well, you have to first and foremost be true to that what you're saying. A lot of people just they say those things. How the kids say it sounds sweet. You know what I mean? So and a lot like the lifestyle that kind of comes with it, not necessarily the work. So first and foremost, if you say it, mean it. That's one. And if you do truly mean it, then you will put in the daily work, the daily grind. And as I mentioned, on my, my little talk, up here in Villanova, you can't skip any steps, not if you're trying to be an elite company. You know what I mean? We're not just talking average. We're not just talking about trying to be, amongst the crowd. We're talking about elite company. The top 1% of basketball players in the world play in the NBA. And in order to achieve that, you've got to be extremely focused. You've got to be extremely dedicated, to the game, all aspects of the game, the fundamentals, the taking care of your body, the diet, the sleep, the recovery, everything, the film study. There's a lot that comes with it. So, if you do truly want that, go for it, but just know that it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of pain, a lot of sweat, some tears, but it's definitely, with that being said though, Lady A, it's definitely achievable. It's definitely achievable. I mean, I'm thinking of all the guys in my 40 years of being around this game, who look just like me, who've made it. Who've made it because they were determined to make it, and they cut out all the distractions. I think the biggest hurdle for these young guys right now is just all the distractions, not just now the social media distractions, because everybody wants the likes and the clicks and all that, and that consumes way too much of these young people's times. But then the flip side now is just the NIL. So before, when you ran a race, they would wave the carrot in front of you to make you run faster. Imagine if you were running a race and they gave you the carrot. How fast would you run? Would you run to exhaustion every day? No way. You got the carrot. So that's the other thing too. Those guys are going to have to be extremely mature. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't have handled it. I couldn't have handled it at all. If you would have gave me, I'm not even thinking about this type of money. When I was in school, if you would have said to me, hey, we're gonna pay you, we can give you $20,000, I would have lost my mind. Now we're talking about 200, 500, 1 million, $1.5 million and above for a kid that's 18, 19 years old.
You still got to be hungry, and you still got to be hungry.
And you still got to make sure mom and dad and cousins and all those people are calling
distractions
who think that money don't went out.
Distractions. Absolutely.
Coach, I'm about to ask you to do something that I didn't plan, and I just thought about it. Okay, and you can tell me no. I want to switch subjects. I want to go to the NBA.
Okay.
But I know that there has been no place that I probably would have rather have been than with you and those other coaches watching that game last night. So if you would grab one of them other coaches and bring them in so we could talk a little NBA right now. Any coach that wants to come, just bring them on.
No, I would definitely do that. But we're in a house and all of us are in single rooms. And if I knock on anybody's door right now at 9 o'clock, and you know what I mean? Like that. I probably would have had to give them heads up. But I would be willing to come back and bring a couple of these because I got some really opinionated guys that I would love for you to hear from.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So you are watching First String Podcast live here. We have Coach David Cox, one of the assistant coaches for Villanova. In a little bit, say it about the pop in. A little bit is right now. Here's the birthday boy himself.
Say, don't you try to be like me. Get out of my house. Say,
did you catch enough fish? Say it. Did you catch enough fish?
I do A player. I do my thing.
You see said background. Say, get out of my house.
I bought a duplicate.
Furnace get the same way.
Anyway,
They was
Furnace
on
get the
sale.
same way. We talking a little. You got your birthday hat on. We talking a little NBA
Oh my
right now.
God.
Al, go ahead, man. Get your questions in.
Okay. No, I was going to say, Coach, you in the Big East, babe.
Yes, sir.
You know that. So, and one good thing of a Kevin Willett team and Coach Cox team over the last couple of years has been y'all hang your hat on your defense.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you're gonna bring your lunch pail to work, so we ain't got to worry about that.
Right.
But in that conference, you got Connecticut
Mm-hmm.
and Hurley, you got Patino, St. John's, you've got McDermott and Creighton. Teams that gonna bang, man. Are you letting these guys know what they're getting ready for and make sure, and you got the bags out there banging them down low? Is that what we're getting up there in Villanova? Because these guys got to be ready to bang because that Big East. And they're going to see.
Yeah. Yeah, as you mentioned, that's Coach's thing. Coach he's a New Yorker. He was at Seton Hall for those 12 years. He recruited heavily in the New York City area, and he got dogs. That's why they were able to compete at such a high level. It wasn't because he was, attracting 5-star and necessarily 4-star players, not to Seton Hall, you know what I mean? But he was getting dogs. So, that's kind of who he is. You know me, that's, I hang my hat on the defensive end, just as a coach in general. So we've done, I think, a good job of identifying those types of players and recruiting into the fold. So it's not as if, Alvin, we've got to, scare them or preach to them. We got guys that do that naturally, throw their bodies around in a physical and a dog. So yeah, I definitely think, we'll be ready to compete, at a high level this year.
Let me ask you a quick question. Sorry I'm here a little late.
Hey, said happy birthday to you, brother.
Hey, thank you, my brother. Thank you. How are you guys managing NIL?
Woof. So how we're managing is we have 2 general managers, 2 former players, Baker Dunleavy, who played here at Villanova, his father obviously a longtime NBA head coach, and we have Randy Foy, who starred here and had an outstanding career in the NBA. So in all honesty, said we let them handle all of that. Okay. They know all of the movers and shakers up here. The people. Obviously when we had collectives who would donate the money, so they handle basically all the money stuff. We do the recruiting. Then we get them to a certain point where it's time to talk money, and we pretty much back out of the room and let them handle that.
Okay.
And I think
we're going to have a segment on our show at one point in time about NIL, because NIL is taking over. It's taking over college football for sure. So we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna do a whole show about that. And we'll give people questions and answers what they think about it and how it's going so far.
Hey, Cox. Also, if you didn't know, Sid is one of the biggest donors to the Georgia Collective for Georgia football down there. So he's one of the biggest donors to that Georgia Collective. So when you see that quarterback they got come in for 4.5, Sid contributed to that.
Oh, Sid. Okay. We got to get you up here, brother. Yeah, that SEC is a whole different monster. That's a whole different monster. I mean, and they're going to be the SEC, as I mentioned, the Big Ten, conference and the House settlement. They're going to be in the same boat. So I'm not sure what those basketball programs are going to do when they're getting $4 million and their football team is getting 16, 17 million, and they got to compete against, I'm not sure how that's going to work itself out.
Yeah. And we got to have you back too, Coach, because I guess one thing, too early of a question to ask you now is, how much would you like being in a school where there is no real, and I say that as a William Murray guy, because we used to punish Villanova. There is no real good football team there. So you don't have to worry about that. So all eyes are on Villanova Wildcat basketball.
Yes.
And after the season, I want to see how that scrutiny or how that spotlight is felt.
Yeah, and it definitely comes with a whole different level of scrutiny. And to be honest with you, outside of the money issues, Alvin, I'm a huge college football fan. I can watch college football every day. I mean, all day on Saturday. So to me, not to have, be able to go to a high level football game, that kind of hurts me a little bit. But obviously, resources wise, it's going to be better for the program. And I do like my job. So, you know, I'll roll with it.
Hey, let's talk about this NBA basketball game. Lady, hey, you ready? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to know, a lot of coaches on the collegiate level, regardless of the sport, um, tend to display things that they bring to the table for their players that don't really have to anything to do with the sport or that particular skill set. Just like stuff like life skills or finances or, just to help them with their studies. Is there something that you guys are putting in place that may be new to Villanova?
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely. Financial literacy, is huge. Is huge right now. We're talking to them about the taxes, that they're going to have to pay these taxes. We're not paying the taxes. We're giving them lump sums of money, and they're going to have to put that money away and be ready to pay those taxes. We're talking about investments, so yeah, all of those things. We're talking about that. We haven't kind of got to the point where we have brought somebody in to talk about, the families and the other people who will kind of coach. We're looking for a dynamic speaker in that regard, and there are some out there. That's kind of something that we feel a little, we're not ready to kind of touch. But as far as financial literacy, we're on top of that, and that is new.
Yeah, I totally agree. You handing these 19, 20, 21-year-olds, mega money, and we're having instances where you show that some of them, even though there are places that are giving them literacy classes, they're still like, I'm gonna blow through this. There's more. There's not an unlimited pot that they have.
That's right.
They only have 4 years unless COVID. You have extra years. After that 4 years, you have to get a job. You have to go to the league. And you're not gonna get paid like that. You go to the league.
If you can make it. If you can make the league.
If you can make it, right
there.
Yeah, because if you go overseas or if you go to the G, I mean, just think about it. G League, you're going to make about $75,000. So some of these kids, who are making, $1 million, $2 million, they're getting checks of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month. Or now gonna go to the G League, ride buses, stay in hotels, and get checks of, $8,000, $10,000 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work for the lifestyle that I need. So I got to stay hungry. Which means that we got to keep going. And Coach, I want to thank you for the time that you're giving us. Right?
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
No, this is fun, man.
Yeah. Last night we had an NBA game. The Indianapolis Pacers, the Pacers versus OKC, the Thunder.
Yes.
In OKC. And it turned out that Hallibuckets had 0 buckets. My man took a fall early, and there's been a whole debate today on, is it his responsibility to go to the coaches and say, I can't do it? Or is it the coach's responsibility to say, you're done, start your recovery process right now?
Right.
I know you deal with college, and that's a difference, right? But on that pro level, whose responsibility is it?
Well, I'll say this. It should be a little bit of both. But we're at the end of the season. Those things are established throughout the season. You know what I mean? You're talking about training camp, 80, 90 games. He's been nicked before. Every player on the team has been nicked up or hurt at some point. And you establish, a rapport with your coaches, through practices, through early games, through preseason games. Hey, coach, I need one off today. Or hey, coach, I'm a tough it through today, but I might not be as sharp. Like, you've got to have that, and it goes back and forth. So I think that should have been established. Like, that connection startled me yesterday, because I think the world of Rick Carlisle as a coach. I love the young fella Halliburton. I thought that they would have just had a better connection there at this stage of the year. Even if it's Rick just looking at him saying, hey, you know what, I've seen Hallie, something doesn't look right. Or if it's Hallie that might say, hey, you know what, I can't go no more. Let me go sneak over to coach. And I know this is a big, important game, but it's not the elimination game. I need to be healthy for that. So maybe I will, mention something to him. So that was I thought that was a little strange. I think both of them are a little bit at fault.
Especially with McConnell playing as well as he was playing.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
I thought that kind of gave him an out to maybe say, Hallie, put some ice on it, baby. You might be done for the night. But once again, you know this, dog. You know this, Dave, as much as I know. It's hard to pull a star or a player, period, out of a game, hurt or not being hurt. Unless you done broke my arm. I remember playing games with a broken clavicle and still not wanting to come out. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some of that too. You're in Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
You're not even supposed to be there.
You just
won an Olympic gold. You're trying to get an NBA championship. Yeah, I might have taken the Halliburton route and just tried to tough through it as well, if I'm being honest.
But that's where the coach's responsibility comes into play. We've talked about this before. Yes. Another sport, another team, another player, but it's a common problem. It is a shared responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're supposed to look out for yourself. You're supposed to look out for your team, but the coach is also supposed to look out for the team. The coach is actually supposed to look at it over, a overhead type of look, So for that to happen on a professional level when it's happening it's a failure. Yeah. We literally saw a failure. So there is a responsibility for both. Yes. To answer your question, Pat.
Yeah, Coach. I think the world of Coach Rick Carlisle. I can remember going down to Houston and saw him get kicked out of a game when the Pacers were terrible. I mean, he got himself kicked out because the Pacers started off the first quarter terribly, right?
You want to see no more?
He got himself kicked out, and they won that game. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. We got a question from Cuzzo here. He says, he's just going to ask you to answer this question, Coach. He says, now, Coach. Now a question for Coach. If you were coaching the Pacers last night, would you have let McConnell keep playing and rested Halliburton?
Yeah, 1,000%. And I do say that, knowing that there will be some coaches maybe who will see this and say, man, you kidding. You're in, Game 6 of the finals. He's your best player. You know what I mean? You're going to ride until the wheels fall off. But I wouldn't have, because, again, we spend a lot of time around these guys. Like, I notice if a guy walks in the gym, his eyes aren't right. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe he'd been crying or just not feeling well. I notice, the gait of a guy as he's running, that don't quite seem right. Like, you notice those things. You're around them so much. You know what I mean? So you notice those things. So, yeah, I would have noticed that in Halliburton. We were at OKC in a crazy, crazy environment. It's not the elimination game. We do get a chance to go back to Indiana. And as you mentioned, McConnell was balling. Like, he was playing really well. So, yes, I think I would have been a little bit more in tune to the injury. I would have rode with McConnell and got him that experience. Maybe see if we could steal the game. If we couldn't, no problem. We'll go back. I've given my best player, my engine, my quarterback, time to rest up, maybe get some treatment and be ready to go, for this next, obviously, season could be season ending game. So I would have rode with McConnell. Yes.
Okay. And you said ride till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
You have to know when the wheels have fallen off. That's the key right there, right?
Well,
the wheels fell off.
I mean, there's two things to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do have to know, but then you also have to care.
Yeah, that's
so some coaches just don't notice it. Some coaches notice it and don't give a damn because they're trying to get to the ultimate goal of winning. Right. So yeah, but
then when the next game, you're gonna need that person, and they're not gonna be.
They're not available.
But I think one thing, Coach, you kind of hit to it earlier that we're not talking about is trust between a coach and a player, which is so important, man.
Yeah.
And it's a delicate line. You got to trust that they're going to tell you, but they got to trust that they also have to trust you that you're going to let them tell you that as well. And that's a delicate. Like, lady, I know you're saying you got to save him from himself, but you're talking about great coaches. Well, why they're great coaches is because they have great trust, and the players that they play for them have great trust in them. So that it's never a right. I mean, hindsight, we all know is 20/20, and it's easy to say after the fact. But like I said, we don't know what was being said on the bench. Like, can you go? What you got for me? When he's sitting down, because he gave him a lot more breaks yesterday, and that's why
he did
to get off like he did.
Yeah, he did. It's interesting that he gave him all those breaks because it's almost as if he knew that he wasn't 100%.
Got another one for you, Coach.
Yeah. Oh, you see it? You see it out? You see it?
Cuzzo
Hold
got
on.
one more for you. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
He said, Coach, do you got another question for you, Coach? Do you feel that Pascal would be a better defender against SGA for Game 6?
First of all, let me give. I like to give Ryan Nembhard a lot of credit. I love him. I wish the Wizards would trade for him. I wish he would be our starting point guard. To be honest, I'm so impressed with him. I didn't think he could play defense to this level. Again, not that he's shutting SGA down, obviously, but he's making him work extremely hard. But yes, he's small. So when SGA gets to certain spots, he's just able to shoot over him. So that would be the reason why you put Pascal on him. The problem with putting Pascal on him, though, is Pascal has to be one of your leading scorers. And you don't want to wear him out having to guard the best player on the other team and have the responsibility of scoring. So that's why you give that assignment to Nesmith and you give that assignment to Nembhard.
Well, speaking of the OKC players, last night we had one of those things where we saw Williams just come into form. A high draft pick that just absolutely, on the biggest stage, his star just took off. Now, he's been playing pretty good all season. He's been the Batman to SGA, the Robin to SGA's Batman.
Right.
But last night, he hit a different gear.
He did.
Like, what do you do? I'm going to ask you to play both sides.
Mm-hmm.
As this guy is taking off, like, what are coaches doing to push this? And then what do you have to do to stop it on the other side of it?
Well, he's obviously came into his own. He had a tremendous year. He's one of my favorite young players. One of my favorite, super talented, plays extremely hard. And like you said, last night he was getting downhill, getting to the bucket. Then he was knocking down his jumpers because he was feeling so good. He was just playing so loose and so free. You got to give that organization obviously a lot of credit. Sam Presti, the best in the business. For identifying him. That they took him 2 slots after the Wizards took Johnny Davis. I'll leave that right there. So, what did they just let him go? I mean, he was at home. He had the juice. And that's a credit to that team. Like, that's a young, talented team. But man, they play so connected, and man, they're so mature. Like, they know how to get out of each other's way. Luke Dort will have some days where he's got it going and they're passing him the ball. Obviously, SGA, they get out of his way. Chet has some days like that where they just, they feature him. And last night it was J-Dub's night. I give that staff, that group of young men, that culture, just a lot of credit. And what do you do on the other side? Hey, at that level, you know what I mean? Once he gets going, it's not much you can do. There's not much you can do. You can try to contain him. You know what I mean? You can hope to contain him, but you got to continue to score. That's about it. Like, it doesn't matter who was guarding him last night. They were going to get the business.
All right. Okay, Sid. Thank you for dropping in on your birthday, bro. We appreciate it. So, want to make sure this right. Like, you are 2 years older than Janet today.
Watch these lies, Pam. Watch these lies.
Who's he talking about?
Oh yeah, lady. Yeah, my bad. You right. You so right. Listen.
And said is 2 years older than who?
Janet Jackson.
That's
what we talking about. Janet Jackson. That might be who's 2 years older than.
You right.
Right.
Loses. Hey, thanks, Cole. We'll catch you later.
Enjoy your day, bro.
Enjoy your birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, man, we forgot to give out his cash app for sure, so everybody can send him a penny.
Right, put his cash app in there.
Oh,
a penny. You can't even send a penny on Cash App, can you?
I don't know, man. I forgot.
I feel like you can't.
I feel like it's a certain amount.
Pick actually knew that, so he might have been sent a penny or sent someone a penny.
Pick, who you sent a penny to?
He was out the country a couple weeks ago. What you was doing?
So he was.
Come on, man. Stop playing with me, man. Hey. All right, look. So, again, thank you, Sid, for joining us. But let's get back to this NBA Finals. So, they go up. Tomorrow's the elimination. Wednesday. Thursday. Thursday's the elimination game.
Yes.
For OKC. How do you stave off elimination here, Coach? I mean,
well, they'll be at home. They'll play a lot more looser, a lot more comfortable. I think part of their issue right now is now that Oklahoma City has gone back to their original starting lineup. I mean, I thought that was asinine to
start game one the way they did.
That was the epitome of, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Like, that was the epitome of it. So now that he's got his senses back and gone to his original starting lineup, they are so connected on the defensive end that's what you saw last night. Their defense against Indiana was unbelievable. Their rotations, all of that. So I think the thing that Indiana is going to have to do is they're going to have to get back to getting up and down the floor. Their pace is going to have to be electric, which it should be at home with all the juice in the building. And if they can play at their pace, they have a chance to go ahead and win that game and take it to a game 7. They're going to have to outscore them. They're going to have to really score that basketball on Thursday night.
So you said Pascal Siakam. Hey, put one in picks category for getting it correct, okay? So Pascal Siakam has to be one of their leading scorers, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned playing him on some lesser talent on offense.
Well, there is no lesser talent on offense now. He just
on the defensive side. I'm sorry, on the defensive side.
There's an elite guy, and then there are a whole bunch of really, really good guys. So they're not hiding them. They just not putting them on the best, one of the best scorers. Well, the best scorer in the NBA. Like, he's like one of the best scorers in the NBA. So, because that wears him out. Now, again, in a game 6, in a pinch, in the fourth quarter, and if they got to go to him, I might look at that matchup. Absolutely. But I wouldn't start the game that way. I need Pascal to score. I don't need him worried about guarding this guy, getting in foul trouble. You know how that guy creates, how many fouls he creates on players? The last thing you want him to do is be tired, worn down, can't shoot, and in foul trouble.
Right. So my question to you was, if Halliburton can't go, like, who has to pick up the scoring for the Pacers?
Yeah, that's it. They're done. He ain't playing.
Said no shot.
Yeah, man.
That's
I'm with Coach on this one. No Hallie, no ring, baby. No chance. No. Yeah, I'm with Coach.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, not unless again. TJ McConnell, he's been balling, man, but he would have to have like 20, 25 points, and that's not really his you know what I mean? So yeah, that would be very, very, very tough to overcome. Very tough to overcome.
They would need all of their shooters to shoot.
Yeah, but the thing is, they won't get open. Halliburton makes it so easy for those guys. You know what I mean? He makes the game easy for those guys. He's a tremendous passer and playmaker. So, and he can score. So he puts pressure on the other team, by scoring the basketball, maybe getting them in some foul trouble, but then he's a hell of a distributor. So you don't have the scoring, you don't have the distribution, it's just that would be tough.
All right. So, Coach, do you feel that Miles Turner should have has to dominate, to be a dominant key as well? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he needs to show up, period. Yeah, he needs to worry less about his, the pregame outfits and all that type of stuff, man, and just come and play. I like Miles Turner. I think he's talented. I mean, he can shoot the basketball. He'll throw his body around when he needs to. Good defender, block shots at the rim. But he's been outplayed sorely in this series, and he was outplayed in the Knicks series. So yeah, he's gotta tighten up. All
right, we got a question from the Universe Galaxy, right? It says, hey guys, can you talk about typical Michael Jordan fans being the worst sports fans of all time? It's a really good topic. I've tested it many times, and lots of people get into it. I'm not understanding, talking about the GOAT, right? This is almost like saying who's better, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady. The rings speak for themselves, right? Who has more rings than MJ? Who doesn't go to game 7s, right? Players know. Matter of fact, I got one better for you. Shaq gave his all-time basketball starting 5. Shaq said Kerry at the 1, Kobe at the 2, MJ at the 3, Tim Duncan at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. Now, if Shaq is putting MJ on the team, he didn't leave him off. He played with Kobe.
Right.
He played with LeBron. He left him off.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a generation. It's now become a generational argument. You know, guys who people who are over the age of 40. You know, pretty much 35, 40, who had a chance to actually watch Michael Jordan, whether it was in college and pros, or, what have you, are a little bit different than some of the younger generation, 35 and under, who were able to watch 20 years of LeBron. I mean, just think, if you're 35 years old, LeBron was in the league when you were 15, and you watched that for 20 years, and you watched him, obviously win championships and play at a super, super high level. So I think, their arguments. The main argument right now is the LeBron, Michael Jordan. I won't get into that. I'm team MJ, but I'm older, so and I love LeBron. I love what he's done for the league. I think the world of him as a professional. And he's up there. He should be. It should be a debate. There really should be a debate. I just think the debate ends with, as you mentioned, 6 appearances, 6 rings, 6 MVPs.
No game 7.
And here's my thing. Numbers don't lie. Like, when you look at, and then on top of that, the game has changed.
Right.
The game has changed as a result of, and we talked about this before, as a result of the gentleman that you just named, Pick. The game has changed. If you have put an influence on a game at that magnitude, I mean, and then to say that the MJ fans are the worst fans, it's too many people who are MJ fans. So to say that, exactly who are you talking about? Because if you're a fan of basketball and you're a fan of good players, Michael Jordan will come up in conversation.
Absolutely.
Yes. And he should.
Yes.
And he absolutely should.
Whether you believe that LeBron and kind of like what you said, Coach Cox, people have only seen, there are some people who've only seen LeBron. He's played for so long, and I get that. But this is a different game.
Right.
We talk about this all the time, and a lot of people do not like it, but it's real.
Yes.
Some of the players that we see would not be at this status had they played back then.
No.
Let's just keep it real. They've changed so much with the NBA that it's a different game. Absolutely. So to say that MJ fans are the worst, first of all, that's like that's a big block of NBA fans.
Yeah, and I never heard that one before. Yeah, I never heard that one.
I got a question.
Yeah.
And this question is spawned by that question, right? Which led to me naming Shaq starting 5 of all time. And my question for you, Coach, is this. We all know that Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Shaq, Curry, Tim Duncan, they all had this crazy work ethic, but even more so than their work ethic was their will to compete.
Yes.
All right.
They're hard, right.
And I want you to speak in who have you coached that has shown you that will to compete? And I will race you walking. I will race you in the weight room. My will to compete carries over on everything that we do. Eating, sleeping. I will outsleep you. I will out eat you. I will outwork you. What player was that in your coaching career?
Oh man, I've had several of those types of guys. I mean, I think about my time at Rhode Island. We had a young man there by the name of Fats Russell who ended up transferring to Maryland. The ultimate competitor. I coached a young man by the name of Navarro Bowman. Who obviously played in the NFL, and the ultimate competitor in any sport. Chris Wright, who I coached at Georgetown. The ultimate competitor. On the court, I think of, as I mentioned earlier, Beasley and Derik Queen. Now, I mean, they might not necessarily, I don't know what they do as far as ping pong and pool and all that other stuff, But I know that on the court, no matter who they're playing against, the level of the game, the scrutiny, the fan, none of that, they go up. You know what I mean? Some people cower, some people shy a little bit. They go towards the fire. You know, so yeah, I've coached. I've been blessed to have coached, you know, several of those types of guys.
Hey, that's the one thing that you should know about Michael Jordan is that's the first part is that man's level of competition was serious.
Yes.
In everything that he did.
Absolutely.
Man, Coach, if you're going to stick with us, I do appreciate it. We're going to switch up topics real quick. We're going to move to hockey.
Yeah, then that's gonna be my time to bail. Hey, it was a great hour and a half.
This is like it's about to be quick, right? Yes. This is about to be quick, so you can just stay right there, Coach. Because
I got you. But yeah, we've gone a good hour and a half. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I've had a lot of fun.
I have to. We thank you, Coach.
Yeah, man, and I look forward to get back on here. Honestly, man, you know, I've got a couple of other coaches. Like I said, I would love for you guys to meet. And I got to touch up on my hockey before we could talk about some hockey.
No. Set it up, Coach. Just set up what you can set up. You're always welcome here on First Screen Podcast, except for the week of the Commanders.
Understood.
No Christmas. Don't come Christmas.
If you have time in your schedule, I need your help, Coach.
Yeah.
Al. That will be loaded. That we will be loaded against you, bro.
Chat and on the screen, Coach.
I could only imagine. I'll be back though. I'll be back. I'm around for that as well.
Definitely, Coach. We will definitely have you back. Contact, Coach. We will get in touch with you. You get in touch with us. But we will definitely have you back. Set it up. Bring the rest of the coaching staff with you. We got plenty of questions, and man, absolutely, we just look forward to being with you again.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. You guys do a great job. I love the energy. I love being a part of this tonight. Appreciate you. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got some more fans on here, baby.
There we go.
We got a few more, man. Like I said, man, I'm looking forward to the season. When does the season? Oh, by the way, when does the season start?
I want to say November 8th, something like that, somewhere around that time. Yep. So we've got let's not even talk about that shit. I'm trying to enjoy, as you said, it's summertime. I'm trying to enjoy my day. So
yes.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that headache right now.
Wish you a good season, Coach, but we'll talk to you before that even starts, okay?
Sounds good. You guys take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
That was Coach Cox, Villanova assistant coach that we just had on. Coach will be back with us again. Al, Coach gave us an hour and a half, man.
Coach gave us a lot, baby.
He gave us a lot. You talk about we respect people's time, but thank you, Coach, so much for giving us all that time. Lady A, no one's been fined yet, right?
We'll talk about that later.
You don't find me just for being here. So what I mean, the universal answer to that is yes. I'll pick. So she can just say it. I'm used to it.
It's okay, Al. Sometimes HR gets overruled too. Hockey. We thought that they may be a game 7.
Oh, yeah.
But the way it's looking right now, we might have a back-to-back champ.
Yeah, I think
Panthers are up 3-0 at the end of the second period. And you can't count the Oilers out because of what they did in the last game in Florida, where they came back or they got out to an early start, whatever. But you can't count them out, not just yet, not until the final seconds. When it gets down to about maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and the score's still 3-0, then we're looking at a cup celebration. Connor McDavid, the best hockey player in the world, may be without a ring again. And for me, I feel like the Oilers, both games that they won, happened in overtime, right? And the Panthers have literally come out, dominated games, won games in overtime as well. So, yeah. It's playoff hockey, right? Yeah. And right now, the Panthers are totally dominating their goalie standing on his head. That's what they say, right? Stand on his head. Okay, Al.
Yes.
Let's switch up to football now. Let's get to where something that Coach would have been able to stick around for.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay.
Look at Lydia's face, like she's ready to pounce on something. Look at her face. I swear, I was about to get off the screen for a second, man. Like, what I do?
All right.
But wait, before we go into that, are we gonna address my cousin?
What did he say?
Not Cuzzo in the chat. My other cousin.
Oh, yes, please. No, take the lead. Take the lead. Yes, take the lead.
Okay. On Saturday, we had the UFL championship, guys. You guys may know that, Jordan Tayamo, that's my cousin. Okay. And I told him he was my cousin. So he did not receive the MVP for the regular season.
No.
Okay. So the team as a whole was very offended. Jordan was very offended. The coaching staff was very offended.
Oh, they took it personally.
Jordan, he has gotten the offensive player of the year, the MVP. He's gotten all these things, right? They didn't give it to him. Well, guess who lit up the other team
and did that
and showed that no, I am the MVP and we're going to win this championship game. The DC Defenders won their first championship. Now, I have been associated in some way, shape, or form with this organization since 2020. That's their inaugural season. And we've gone to the championship once. And that was they were like they literally had the best record in the league at that time. I felt like it was just a lot of naysayers. I mean, it's well known that DC has the best fan base and it's really live. We did have a coaching change. You guys know we've had Coach Barlow come on many times. He has set the foundation for this team as far as what we see now. Based off of that, they're just piggybacking. And in the new coach, Shannon, he said, pretty much that's what they're doing. They're just picking up, and he's the interim coach now. So the DC Defenders has won their first championship. Well deserved. They did not have a great regular season.
Nope, it don't matter. It's what you do in the playoffs.
Right. It's what you do when you get to the playoffs, and they did that. They knew, look, we just need to get to the playoffs and we need to win. Point blank, period. So kudos to Shannon Harris. That's the interim coach. Their entire team, I mean, they meshed well together. I believe they had 5 touchdowns. Let me see. Well, Jordan had 5 touchdowns. And just so you know, Jordan used to play for the Panthers before coming to the UFL. His family was there. He's from Hawaii. His family flew out. I mean, it was just a big thing. A lot of the players, when they interviewed them, they were like, oh, I haven't played in the championship game and won a championship game since I was in high school. So that was a big moment for them. To bring that championship to DC.
Yep.
And just so for people who don't know, a lot of times they call DC the District of Champions. And the reason they started doing that when, like, all of a sudden we had a bunch of teams winning championships.
Except for one.
Not the Commanders, but go ahead.
No, not one. Not one.
You just need to stay in the corner for that.
With no pick, not just one, because the Wizards have not won. The Commanders have not won in recent times. But
Capitals, Nationals, all those teams.
Caps, Nats, Spirit,
Mystics.
We really do have a lot of teams in the Washington DC area, and so the DC Defenders have just joined ranks. 5 years, but of course they didn't play every single year for the 5 years because of COVID. But their 2020 season got cut short, and then I want to say they came back 22 or 23. Look, it's all running together. 23. They came back 23, 24, and now here we are in 25, and they won themselves a championship. Let me give you the final score. The score was crazy.
Oh, the score was ridiculous.
58-34. So they played the Michigan Panthers. And you know what? Jordan didn't play for the Panthers. Who did he play for? Hold on. Let me not lie to you.
Jordan
played for the Chiefs. Yeah. He played for the Lions, the Chiefs, the Texans. And then he actually, I want to say, went over to St. Louis when the UFL started, and then came over to the DC Defenders. So pretty cool. Very good crowd. DC fans will travel. Okay.
God will do that.
So they travel. They definitely were there. They showed out. So congrats to them. Congrats to my cousin Jordan, who won the MVP of the game, as he should have. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only championship in football DC will see. Congratulations.
That's not true, because the DC Divas have also won a championship in recent times. So I need you to stop.
Only men's football championship DC will see.
All right, Al.
Yes.
It's your time to shine here. So Cowboys camp is over.
Thank goodness.
No.
Let me mute myself.
Before we go there, let's talk contracts and contract situations.
I don't want to talk contracts, man. It's a sensitive subject, but go ahead.
It is for y'all.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, Bengals I can talk.
The Cincinnati Bengals have put in some contract language.
Yep. This year.
Their first round draft pick, what's his name? Semar Stewart, happened to catch.
Don't do it. Can't do it.
Happened to catch. This language absolutely needs to come out.
It's brand new. It's brand new. They did not have it last year.
New.
It's brand new.
No other contract in the league has it.
They try to sneak that in there, but go ahead. Tell us what the contract says.
Basically, what this contract said is this: is if you default, and the default can be anything. A default can be being fined, penalized in the game, contract detrimental to the team. It's a whole bunch of things that you could be fined for, that your guarantees for the entire length of your contract,
remaining years,
Bengals have the option to void, which basically means the NFL contracts are not guaranteed, period, right? The only thing that's guaranteed is your signing bonuses, and not even your salary is guaranteed. But it's just another way for the Bengals, who have been known throughout the league to be the cheapest franchise, period.
Yeah.
This is when keeping it real goes wrong. And the Bengals are keeping it real by being their real dumb self. And this is why the Bengals are who they are. Period. This is a poor move. You first of all, it's on a rookie contract.
Yep.
That's slotted. You have a first round pick that you have the rights, you have the control of for the next 5 years potentially.
To rebuild your team.
To build your team. This contract is not hurting you. It's put in place so that you can continually build afterwards, sign your stars, sign the different people.
And they don't get money. Rookies don't get money like that.
No, I mean, most of his money is going to be even in the guarantee. I mean, it's going to be the signing bonus, or and then scattered, generously or not generously, but over through the next few years. Most of it's going to be in the signing bonus. I mean, you're talking about $17 million over 5 years, $18 million, I think it is, which is good money for everybody. Good money for a first round pick. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in regards to when you got a $255 million cap, what is that on your cap? 1%, 2%, maybe. So now, well, it might be more than that. It might be like 3 or 4. But anyway, do the math. Don't think about the math. But it's such a bad precedent for your locker room. We don't even take care of the players before they get here, and we're not even taking care of the ones that we've groomed that are here in Hendrickson. So who do you sign? You made Jamar wait. You made T. Higgins going to on a franchise tag.
You didn't make Joe Burrow wait.
You did not make Joe Burrow wait. So
Nope.
what does that say about you? What does that say to your locker room, to your players? So I stand 10 toes down, feet everything, everything on the floor with Stewart. Don't sign it. He should have walked out of minicamp like he did. He did come voluntarily, showed up, didn't participate on much, which he's not supposed to, because you can't ask me to participate if you haven't signed me.
Right.
His contract also has some other language in there which talks about injuries, right?
Yeah.
His injury language in his contract as well will
mess up his guarantee.
It won't mess up his guarantee, but the language in the injury part of it, I'm trying to make sure I got this right, because I think Mina Kimes, I want to credit the right person. It's either Mina Kimes or I can't remember the other lady's name that said that the injury part of his contract, which all of the Bengals rookies, this is in all of their rookie contracts, if they get hurt in these camps, they're just not getting paid.
Right.
Which is terrible.
Yeah. They get.
We know that injuries happen in these camps. So why put yourself at risk for it to happen?
Right. And keep in mind, they're your employee when they get hurt. They got hurt because they're there for you. I'm not understanding what the problem is.
I just think it's a very bad look, like I said.
It is. And just like they have a right to, any organization has a right to change their contracts. But the players have a right to say no.
Absolutely. And thinking like I said, he's standing on business for himself.
Yep.
And for the people behind him.
Yep.
Well, what about the rookie class that came in with them? Do you think that this made them run to their contracts?
They already were signed. It wasn't the thing is, the bad thing about it and the good thing about it is for them, it wasn't an option. It wasn't even put into play. And it's just
the injury part is.
The injury part is there.
But the other stuff with the guarantee.
With the guarantees.
Right. That was only for a first round.
That was only for their first rounder.
Right. And
that's dirty.
Right.
I mean, he is your highest rookie that's coming in.
Yeah.
He's your replacement for the guy you won't sign now.
Yeah. So it's like you don't want anyone in that position. That's what it seems like. You just gonna have that position vacant. You just on the field. You just gonna be nobody there.
Right.
Al, you speaking to it. You're speaking to it. But ultimately, who does this fall on?
The general
as far as in the front
GM,
office, is it president?
You can't fire the owner, unfortunately, because the owner is the owner. And
Right.
he's going to be there until it takes a different process to get rid of an owner, as you all already know. But so therefore, it has to fall on the general manager. He has to stand up for business and say, hey, this can't be the precedent that we set as a team or that we set as a mantra within our locker room. And
I feel like it falls on anyone who didn't speak up. If you came across that contract and you saw that and you didn't say anything, it falls on you too. So I don't care who it is. It's multiple people. Let's just say that. You can't. So if you think about it, when teams make decisions like this, when they do a contract like this, it's more than one person who gives it an okay.
Right.
So anybody who gave it an okay is out of their mind. You do not have the organization's best interest at heart. You do not have the players' best interest at heart. That's what it is.
Absolutely. I like it. Okay, Lady A, now it's time to give Al the mic again.
For what?
So Cowboys mini camps are done. Pretty much. We're about to be 6 weeks with no football here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Players go on vacations. They really can't go on vacation. It's just a get away from the facilities type deal. Stay in shape, don't come back fat. But Al, who do you feel needed to have that jump this year in minicamp or during this offseason program to propel themselves to the next level next year for the Cowboys?
Okay. Let me say this first and foremost. These last few mini camps, the vanilla stuff that they're running, it's hard for anybody to make a jump that's significant right now because, like I said, most of your vets are just trying to stay injury free, not going through the motions. They're there because basically I'm there so I don't get fined. What's my man? Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
So I don't get fined. Most of them there for that reason, and I can't blame them. It's a veteran. I talked to Julius just the other day. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he was in minicamp. You know what I'm saying? He's working hard, doing well. But the biggest thing they want to do to come out of camp is stay injury free. You don't want anything nagging, cheap, or anything to happen. So I'm happy that we came out injury free. It's bigger camp for a lot of the rookie guys. I think we're going to have some impact rookies in the running back room that's going to make an impact. I think, especially in the offensive line, with our first round pick. So it's important for them guys to get in there and get working, get a feel for everything. I think they did that. And the good thing about Dallas minicamp, it was quiet coming out of camp. The biggest thing we talked about, no big contract talks. Micah's there. He's participating. He's happy. So I'm just, that's unusual for us to have a quiet camp.
That's scary.
Like I said, so
it's true,
the coaches is saying all the right things.
Pickens must not be there.
Our coach is talking like we're coaching like we're going to have guys off this team who want to get picked for head coaching positions at other teams. He's talking the right talk. He's talking to confidence. He's talking about making challenging these players day in, play in, every second of the play, every practice, everything. He's putting he doesn't sound like a rookie coach to me, which I'm happy about. Now, like I said, all that could be smokescreen. He could get there, don't know what the hell he's doing come the season, and they could all go haywire. I don't think it's going to go that way, but I like what I'm hearing from the coaching staff at Schottenheimer. He has a lot of good veterans leadership in his assistant coaches, being Eberflus, being the defensive coordinator. I mean, he was just in Chicago and could see what went wrong for him being a head coach. So like I said, I think Pickens being there, being happy, and not saying, and already putting the contract talk is, I'm not talking about a contract till after the season. Go ahead and put that out there and get it out of the way so there's not the elephant in the room for people to attack. So I'm happy about all that. I can answer this question a lot better probably come training camp, but that's how I feel thus far after mini camp in June.
Okay, Lady A. Al did a whole lot of talking and didn't answer the question, so we're going to take the mic from him. Who do you feel in Commanders camp needed to have good camp and to set themselves up for a step up this season?
I got one question for you do too. Did Debo get it Ozempic?
Yes.
Okay.
I tell you the shadiness that goes on. Like he says it's us, but the shadiness.
It's absolutely Al.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, the way that this coaching staff and the GM and everyone, the way that the Commanders have been operating last year and this year, I feel like everyone needed to make sure they step up. They made it clear last season and even kind of going into the season coming up that they're not here to just play favorites or keep someone just because it's nostalgia or, because they're a fan favorite. You got to step up. They're holding out on contracts. They'll sign like a 1 year, here and there, things like that. They're making it known that you have to come and show us something. So I do. Bag. Yeah, you're gonna play. You're gonna play. I'm not gonna mention the particular player's name, but he was mentioned earlier in this show today. We've had people who don't want to do anything. This new Commanders front office, the coaching staff, they're not playing. They don't want lazy people on the team. So with that said, you need to show up and show out. And I feel like they're putting it across the board. They don't really care who you are. Oh, you think you're a superstar? You're not a superstar today. Show us. So I do feel like I'm not, and I wasn't trying to give a political answer, but I really do feel like it's everybody.
I'm going to actually name a name.
Oh my goodness. I must object right now. You let that pass and you gave that whole thing about how I answered the question.
No, I just said.
I mean, I answered the question.
I just said I'm going to name names because Lady A didn't do it either.
We can't name names. I'm going to have to name the whole roster.
No.
Would you like for me to go down the roster?
I'm not going to.
Give me off the line.
So hold on. Why I put his hand up? He pulled one of my moves.
I'm going to name names. And last year, there were 2 folks that people wanted to see. And I stated it with Doc a couple of times. These coaches see them every day, right? The coaches see these players every day. They know how hard they're working on the field. They know how hard they're working in practice in the weight room. They know. So if they're not putting them on the field, then they're not ready. With that being said, the 2 players that I'm going to name did play significant time last year, right? One of them was a fan favorite, right? And the other one people considered a bust because they weren't getting the targets on the field as much. But towards the end of the season, they were. McCaffrey, a fan favorite. Everyone wanted to know why he wasn't getting targeted last year, right?
Because he wasn't good. Go ahead.
He is good. Don't do him like that.
Well, we will find out. It looks as if he did have a good to really good to maybe a great off season, and we got to see what happens when they put the pads on and people start getting hit. Will he continue to ascend rather than descend or plateau? Wow, Pick's digging into his vocabulary bag today.
Have you
found
Debo yet?
The other one, yes. The other one,
he's so shady.
He is. But Al, you didn't answer the question. I'm answering the question, so you got to let me talk. So the other one was Ben Sinnott, right?
Yeah,
when you have
I agree there.
A player as the way that Ertz was playing last year, that's what kept him off the field. Now Ertz may be a year older. These things will catch up, but he wanted to come back and play with Jaden and give everything that he can. Now the question is, can Sinnott take time away from Ertz? That's the question is, will they start creating packages where they like, Zach, we're going to use you in the 4th quarter when we need you, and then he starts to chip away at that time.
I don't think they would.
But early in the season, there's a big rotation, and he would have to take off early in the season.
That's true.
For him to get time later in the year. If that doesn't happen, look for more of the same from last year because he's already behind Bates, who's an outstanding blocker, right? So the only way that you can get time away from Ertz is game 1, game 2.
Yeah, you got to come out the gate.
When you get out there. No, he can't.
But okay, so Pick real quick, since you want me to name names.
Yes.
I'm going to say this is not going to make sense.
I don't think I threw shade. No, I don't think I threw any shade.
No. I'm saying the only name I can think of outside of Sinnott, because I do agree there. People are going to be mad at me. This fan favorite in the running back group.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Okay. Our Superman.
B-Rob.
B-Rob. There's been some talk. So B-Rob has to step it up.
Not only is there talk, but they drafted
exactly
a running back that the NCAA screwed.
You're gonna say that anyway, Al. You're gonna say that anyway. Here's my thing. I want B-Rob to step up. I don't want him to go. I want him to step up so that he can secure his spot. That's really what I want him to do. I think that he can, but it's the question of will he is the real question. He's a very talented guy. He's built for it tough. He is to show it.
Did you say built for it tough?
Yes, he did.
Alabama edition.
But he's a very talented guy whose skill set is diminishing in the league, especially at that position. And I say that with all respect from a running back perspective. There's no hate or nothing. I think he's a good kid. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he's not dynamic.
Yes. Al, I got the perfect thing. If Derrick Henry has a hole, he will hit it for 60, 70, 80 yards. He's done it his whole career.
But this is, I think you're starting that question off wrong, that statement off wrong, because you're talking about a Hall of Famer.
I understand. That's what I'm saying is, but he's also going to get those tough yards for you. He's going to wear you down and pound on you and everything like that.
I'm gonna go with a guy
that's what B-Rob does.
But I'm gonna give you a guy who's similar in style, but who's a little bit more dynamic. And I wouldn't even call him dynamic, but he's more dynamic than B-Rob. James Conner. Conner. He's a pound and pound running back, but like you said, when that slit is there, he can take it the distance, surprise you sometimes. Take it for a 30, 40-yard run or a 20, 30-yard touchdown run. B-Rob, for whatever reason, like you said, whenever he gets in the open, he goes, I don't know if he had a fumbling problem or something. He, instead of opening up, he covers up sometimes. And as a running back, I see these things. I'm like, why is he running so? He's running to get
protected. He's protected,
as opposed to running to get away from a tackle.
Yeah, it seems like he's scared or something. I agree with you, Al. It's like his confidence isn't there for whatever reason. It may be a coaching thing, because we keep in mind from when he got drafted. No. What I'm saying, when he got drafted up until now, they've had some changes as far as coaching is concerned for him, for running backs. Like Jennifer left and went to, I think she went to the Bears. Yeah. So it's like
she was with the Bears. I'm not sure she's there right now.
Right, but I'm saying like when she left the Commanders. But like we've had some changes, and people. I feel like a lot of times B-Rob gets the pass because he had gotten shot.
Right.
And I will say this: when he came back after getting shot, he was stellar. He was outstanding. He came through and he was playing. I'm like, are y'all sure he got shot?
Because he didn't have any dynamic.
We had a terrible. No, he did. We had a really bad team, a really bad coaching staff. The plays that were called were awful. Y'all know I was looking for some people at them games. With that said, for him to be able to play the way that he was playing under those circumstances showed me that he has the skill set. He has the ability to be what Al said, dynamic. And with that said, he has it. But he has to have that drive too.
I feel like our team was so bad at that point in time that we was looking for a running back that would secure the ball, because we had Gibbs.
He wasn't just securing the ball. He was literally running it. He had, if you look at his stats when he first came back, he was a really good running back. And I'm not saying that because, like I said, I'm looking at the difference between then and now. And truth be told, he played better then. Yeah. And he, with terrible coaching.
Yeah.
Well, to Lady A's point, I think that was his rookie season. And like you said, Lady A, he was coming off that injury. And they were giving him limited carries, which he was able to do a lot more. And he had a hunger to him when he first came back that gave you zest for what was to come. I think that's the disappointment part. It hasn't been an improvement or a jump from what you saw that rookie year after coming back from that shot wound. And he does get a pass because it was an unfortunate situation when he got robbed, he got shot. And I'm so glad it was nothing more than what it was, of pretty much a flesh wound they was able to come back from. Because I never want to see any player from any team career come short for those type of stupid reasons because of people doing it. But like you said, you expected more from that, because you said, wow, we might have found a gem in the rough. He was an undrafted kid out of Alabama, one of those things. And he had the culture, he had the pedigree, and seemingly had the talent. But it just like that talent, maybe it topped out. It just topped out, and it wasn't another level he could take it to.
But that we know of, because if you think about it, like I said, if he's able to do that with terrible play calling and bad coaching and things like that, he should be able to improve with better coaching.
And there's something to say also, he was kind of handed that job in so many words. I mean,
it was fumbled to him.
But what I'm saying. So did you like I said, iron sharpens iron. Did he have to work that hard from it to get that job, to get better, to become that? And then when you think of a starting running back, like I say, I think by far he was the worst. I'm going to say it the right way. He was the, if we were listed 1 through 4, top running backs in the NFC East last year, being Saquon being undoubtedly number 1, Dowdle 1,000-yard season probably being number 2, maybe Singleton was Singleton, I think, running back for the Giants.
New York.
Late. He and you would have think it wouldn't have been a question if you'd have put those two together, that Robinson should have been by far the easier choice for the better running back.
Yeah.
But I have to question if he was.
And that's my problem. And that's why I'm saying this minicamp, he needed to step up, because we shouldn't be having this conversation about him. Real talk, I do believe that he is way more talented than what we have seen. But his job, because people are giving him passes, his job really hasn't been in jeopardy to make him to kind of want that hunger or have that drive that we know he can have. Some players have to get cut for them to show out.
Well,
and I don't want him to be in that situation.
I like the Commanders have addressed the running back room. They brought back pretty much the entire running back room, and they added 2 as well.
Correct.
With the 7th round pick. And we don't even know about the undrafted running backs yet, that you may see. So like you said, iron sharpens iron, and we'll see what happens when they put the pads on, because you can't see a lot from the offensive linemen, the running backs and things like that until they put the pads on. So we're pushing a 2-hour mark right now.
Yes, everybody.
Let's tell everybody about what we have coming up for the next 2 weeks, because we have the next 4 weeks. We have this assignment that Al sort of gave us, right? We had this chat, and Al put up this biased poll, right? It was truly
pro football focus. Yeah. Unbiased.
We all know that some biased Cowboy fan created this thing and put it on PFF, right? And they had an all NFC East team. And I tell you,
like had 10 of the 22 players.
75% of the team.
No, like almost 50% of the team.
No, it was more like
10 of 22.
65. I'll say
it was unrealistic.
10 of 22.
It was unrealistic.
10 of the 22.
10 of the 22, but it was, who would you have replaced them with?
Okay, yeah, right. That's what we're about to do right here. So what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks, we're going to bring you our NFC and AFC offenses, right? Okay. And this will be on our Tuesday show.
East or the entire AFC?
We're going to go NFC
and AFC, okay,
and AFC of all time, right? It's going to be a great debate that we're going to have here. Of all time, right? So no timetable, right? Okay. Now let's see how many Cowboys Al puts on this thing right here, or will it be just all Cowboys? But
I mean, but if I made an all Cowboy team, they would be competitive.
It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
So I have to send in my homework one of those weeks.
Okay, but
because I will not be here.
We will do NFC coming up this following Tuesday, AFC offense the following week, and then we'll flip it over and we'll go defense, NFC, and then we'll go AFC. This should get us to the month of. This should get us to when training camp start.
Should get us to August almost, but
this should get us.
Yeah, training camp is in July.
Yeah, but this should get us to football season. Everyone say thank you, Al.
This is going to be disappointing for you, Pitt.
This is not going to be disappointing for me. So make sure you guys do your homework. I'm talking to the audience as well. Be ready to criticize Al's team. Every Cowboy that pops up on his list, make sure that you boo with all the vigor that you have.
Steelers and a few Bills on there too. How about that?
Right. So
you was okay with Steelers, but not the Bills.
I really look forward. I really look forward to this assignment. Get your homework done, people. Put these teams together. Put some real good thought into it. Let's see if you can come up with a better team than Al, because I know my team will be. My offensive team is going to be. It's going. I got some juggernauts for you. So,
who's a hater?
I don't know who he's talking about.
Al's on here. I know Al's on here. She know what I'm talking about. We ain't no Al's on here. We know who it is.
I don't know who he's talking about.
Only she on the broadcast.
Who is that?
Today's Sed's B-Day.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sed. Man, you did your thing. You went out there, caught a lot of fish, and then you.
I need a piece of them fish too, Sed, man. I need break down, brother. Break down.
And in true Sed fashion, he came on here with a birthday bucket hat.
A birthday bucket hat.
Birthday bucket hat.
He did. He had the birthday bucket hat on. Man, thank y'all all for tuning in. Thank you to Coach Cox for giving us an hour and a half of his time. Look forward to bringing him back with some of his coaches, and maybe we can get them on and talk a little bit more NBA, a lot of college basketball and things of that nature. And we'll see how they feel about these lists, because they'll probably be on for it as well. And Coach Cox, he'll get booed as well. I do not discriminate. I won't do it. I won't do it. So, Lady A, it was so good to see you. I always talk to you. I always check on you, big sis, big little sis. Always check on you.
I'm glad he acknowledged that I'm taller than him now.
She's not taller than me.
I was trying to figure where the big little was coming from, because
she's not taller than me.
If it was age or stature, you know.
Oh, I'm not older than him. Y'all know I'm 35. Don't do it.
So the big part is me you're taller than him.
That's we was on a hill. We was on a hill.
We weren't on a hill.
We was on a hill. We'll ask John. We'll see if John can be our guest next week. We'll ask John, and John will tell you, man. We was on a hill.
John, no. Mm-mm.
It was a decline. It was a serious decline.
No, it was not.
Drew
we were standing right next to each other.
Ron and Drew would tell you.
You said it was an anthill, Lady A?
That's what I guess that's what he.
And then she tried to say that I had on. What did you say?
What you had on, some stacks?
No, she said, "What you had on? You had on some Air Max with the."
He had some platform shoes on.
I did not have on no platform. We gotta go. We've been on here too long.
I had on Chucks. You know that I'm gonna make. That ain't gonna make
flip flops. He was barefoot basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had on some I had on some ones. I had on some J
with the platform.
No.
With the lift.
He said, "Oh man."
Ain't no stacking no ones. Stop it.
Just saying, man.
And he had the little thing, the insert in the shoe too.
The goldfish bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm gonna get you sucker. And you still wasn't hard to pick.
They wasn't alive though.
Oh.
I think we covered everything.
Yes.
I think we got it all. We knocked it all out of the park. All right, here we go. Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force, First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Say it ain't here, so y'all know what we're gonna say. Raise hell.
Them boys.
It's wartime, baby. This what you signed up for. This what we worked hard for. You for. Y'all the first string. Y'all gotta go set the tone now. Hey, let's go. Lace them up. It's the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, let's go. 'Cause it's time for the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. Lace them up. It's the First String Podcast show. Hey, let's go. They spitting facts on the First String Podcast show. Imagine talking sports, having fun with the fam. At a starting line, the first string is what you have. An entertaining stream with the Pro Bowl cash. When the viewers chime in, they gon' answer what you ask. Representing for the Queens, yeah, we got Lady A. A super knowledgeable woman who can break down any play. Said from the South, so he rep GA. The Falcons, the Bulldogs, the whole Peach State. Drunk Uncle Al, only way you can describe him. Every time he crack the mic, you know he gon' be wildin'. Last but not least, it's my man Toothpick. Commanders is a squad and he the captain of the ship. So if you feel the vibe, go ahead and tune in. Like, subscribe, recommend.